Okay, let's get oriented in our Chromebook here. Down below, what you'll see is you'll see a bunch of pinned applications down at the bottom. Ignore this last one right here. What you'll see when you log into your Chromebook is you'll see multiple ones of these. You'll see Chrome, you'll see Docs, Slides, Sheets, Forms, and Drawings. You can also always access any of these through the apps in the corner. Over here, this will show you all of the apps that are associated with your account. Okay, so that's where you can reach all of those. All the documents you create on a Chromebook are all stored in your Google Drive, okay? So think of it like your H drive that you can access anywhere, anytime. So we're going to learn three basic things in the Chromebooks here. We're going to learn how your Google Drive works, how to create, customize, and share a Google Doc, and how to customize the Chrome browser to make it easy for you to browse in your Chrome account anytime and anywhere. So let's start in your Google Drive. So getting to your Google Drive is pretty easy on Chromebooks. You just do what I just did by going to the apps and clicking on your Google Drive right there, and it takes you right to your own personal Google Drive. If you want to make sure that's yours, look in the upper right hand corner and make sure that this email is indeed yours. Getting there through a browser on another computer that is not a Chromebook is a little bit different, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. I'm going to show you how to get to your Google Drive now if you're not on a Chromebook. All you have to do is open up Google Chrome and then go into the upper right hand corner where these three little bars are right here, and then click Sign into Chrome. From here, you're going to put in your email and your password. So I'm going to type in mine that I am using, my student account that I am using for this tutorial. And then when you click Sign in, it'll take you to one more place to sign yourself in. You'll click Login, and then that will take you to signed in with your Google account. It'll bring up this little thing right here. Go ahead and just click Create New Profile, and then you're signed into Chrome. So any bookmarks that you've created will be up here. Any kind of settings that you have will be applied to Chrome at this time. And if you want to get to Google Drive, you just click this Apps button up here, and it shows you all the apps that you have installed. And you can just click Google Drive right here, and it'll take you to your Google Drive, and that's how you get to it if you're not on a Chromebook, if you're at home or on a different computer at school. So now that you know how to get to your Google Drive, let's talk a little bit about how to organize your Google Drive. You can always create folders if you want to. You can see I have one little folder right here, but if you wanted to create more, you can click on the Create button right here and you can create a new folder. You can also access Google Docs, presentations, spreadsheets, forms, drawings, all of these from here as well as down on the bottom. So I'm going to create a folder, and let's say I want to create a folder for my English class. Okay. And then I'll create a folder for my English class. Maybe I want to create another one for my biology class. So you can do the same thing like you would do on your H drive, creating different folders for your different classes, like that. Some kind of things you can do to be able to distinguish these is if I click on one, I can always click on this little arrow right here, and I can change the color of the folder if I wanted to. So I could change maybe biology to green, and then if I go back into my drive here, you'll see my biology folder is green. Maybe I want to make my English folder blue, and then maybe I want to make my geometry folder yellow. So we can do that to be able to sort of distinguish your folders if you wanted to do that, if you'd like to stay color coordinated and organized. Another thing that you can do is you can always share folders, which can be very useful if you are doing a project with a bunch of people. Let's say we're doing a group project in my English class, And let's say we're doing a group project on To Kill a Mockingbird, since that is the example that we're using here. Let's say within my English folder, I'm going to create another folder. And I'm going to call it To Kill a Mockingbird Project. And let's say this is a project where a bunch of us are going to be working on all these different documents that eventually have to come together into one project. Okay, but we want to be able to see what everybody else is doing, and we want to be able to keep all of our project materials in one place. Creating a folder and then sharing that folder with your other group members is a great way to be able to do that. So what I can do is I can go into my project folder here, and I can go to this button right up here that says Share Folder. If I click on here, it's going to bring up a new window where I can invite people to share this folder with me. Okay, so I can invite people via their email here. So I'm going to put in my own email. Here it is, it automatically pops up because I've done this before. So you'll just need the email addresses of your group members, which should be fairly similar to yours. It'll still be that at eduhsd.k12.ca.us, just what's before it will change. You want to make sure that they can edit it, because that means that they can contribute new documents to that folder. They can also look at all the other documents in that folder, edit any of the documents in that folder, make changes and such and so on. Okay, there are other options. You can also click Can View. That means they can only look in the folder. They can't add anything to the folder. They can't edit anything into the folder. They can only view it. So if, say, you're a group leader and you just wanted to show somebody else what it was that you've compiled so far, but you didn't want them to be able to edit anything, maybe you can just add them to view. But if you want to do true collaboration, you're going to want to click Can Edit. You can notify people via email. So what it would do is, once I clicked this send, it would send an email to this address saying, hey, somebody's shared a folder with you. I can also add a message to that person if I wanted to, saying, hey, here's the To Kill a Mockingbird project folder. Add your documents here. Okay, so I could do that if I wanted to. Or I can just unclick that and it won't notify them via email. Maybe they're sitting right next to you and they know that they're going to be sending it, or you're going to be sending it to them. So you can unclick that if you wanted to. And then just click OK, or if this is click, you'll click send. Okay, so we'll just click OK here. I'm just going to click OK right here. This is telling me that I'm not sending an email to them. So I'll just click OK, and then you'll see that it will add the other person into here. This is my personal account right here, not the fake student account that I'm working in right now. I'm going to click Done, and now you'll see that in the upper corner here, it'll list all the people who can see the folder. Me and my fake student account, and then me, my actual account right here, can edit. So I'm going to pause the video here for a second, and I am going to go into my other account and add a document, and we'll see it pop up in here. There we go. You can see that this document I just added into the drive from my other computer just popped up in here, and I can click on this if I wanted to and see what they've done so far. I can also add anything into here if I wanted to help them out. So there's that. Okay, so now let's say the shoe is on the other foot. Let's say that this student wants to create a folder and then eventually share it with me. So once they create that folder and share it with me, where am I going to find it? I'm going to find it in this right here where it says shared with me. If I click on there, look, there's the folder that the other student created and is sharing with me. And then I can open this up and look at any files that are in here, create any files to be shared with that other person. It shows me now that these two icons are switched, that this other student is the owner, and I can edit in this folder if I wanted to. So that's a really useful thing to be able to use and do to allow for true collaboration with your peers. Okay, let's now talk about Google Docs and all the things that you can do in Google Docs. From a Chromebook, there are multiple ways to be able to get to Google Docs. You can either click on the icon down here. You can also go into the apps and click on the icon in there, or if you are already in your Google Drive, you can go to Create and click on the document there. So there's multiple places in which you can create a Google Doc. So I'm going to click right down here, and it's going to open up a new tab for me, and it's going to open up my untitled document. The first thing you'll probably want to do, like you would normally do in a Microsoft Word document, is title your document. To title your document, just click on Untitled Document right here, and I can rename it. I'm going to keep with my theme here and rename it. And from there, we can just start typing. There's all different kinds of things that you can do to be able to change it, much like Microsoft Word. You can change the font from up here. You can add more fonts if you wanted to. There's a lot of different fonts that they have, and all you have to do is to click on one to be able to add it into your fonts. So you can definitely do that. You can change the font size from over here, bold, italic, underline, the text color. That's all fairly easy. The way it's justified, to the left, in the middle, to the right. Okay. The line spacing is right here, so if your teacher tells you it needs to be double spaced, 1.5 space, single spaced, you can do that. There's also some numbered lists, some bulleted lists, and all different kinds of stuff. So another good tool to know is the zoom. Sometimes I like to zoom into 125 as opposed to 100 if I feel like my eyes are getting tired or something like that. I can go ahead and zoom in. So I'm going to take a moment here and I'm going to type some stuff out for the To Kill a Mockingbird essay, and then I am going to show you what we can do with it beyond that. Okay, so here I have written a couple of really generic sentences about To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm going to show you how to do a couple of other things with this in terms of formatting and everything. First of all, if you wanted to figure out how to change the margins, we can go up to File up here and we can go to Page Setup, and that will help us choose any margins or choose whether we want it to be portrait or landscape. So we can do that if your teacher has any specific margins for you to be able to use. Another thing that a lot of students use is they need spell check or word count. If we go up to tools, that's where we're going to find those. There's spelling, there's word count, and it'll do that fairly quickly for us there. Also, if you wanted to insert a table for any reason, the table is right here. We just go to Insert Table, and it works much like Microsoft Word, where we choose the number of columns, the number of rows, and it will just insert it wherever our cursor is. Now, a couple of things that are a little bit more complicated are inserting images and inserting links. So I'm going to talk very briefly about those. Let's say I wanted to insert an image into this document. You go up here and you go to Image. If you are on a normal computer and everything, you can upload an image by either just dragging an image right here that you have saved on your computer or choosing an image to upload. But if you're on your Chromebooks, everything's saved in the cloud. Nothing is saved on your computer. So if you've got something saved in your Google Drive, you can go into there and pull something out of there. Or what will probably be the way that you will go is you will go down to Search here, and it will do a Google search for an image for you. So let's type in To Kill a Mockingbird and search it. And then you'll see there's a bunch of images that pop up. Let's say I want to use this one. I just click on it and I click Select, and it's going to insert it into my document. You see there it inserted the image fairly largely. So I want to format this a little bit. If I click on the image, this little menu pops up below it that asks me, do I want the image to be in line with the text, wrap around the text, or break the text? Most likely you won't use in line. Most likely you'll use either you want the text to wrap around it or break it. So I'm going to click Wrap Text, and then I'm going to make this much, much smaller than what it is. There we go. And now I can drag it to wherever I want it to be. I can also change the margin around it. So if I wanted a really small margin around it, I can change the margin. Or if I wanted a really large margin around it, I can do that as well. So maybe I'll change it to 3/8. There we go. Let's make it a little bit smaller. There we go. That's what I want it to look like. If I wanted it to break the text, it would put space between my image and my text. So if you're following certain sort of formatting, you may want to do that. But for my example, I'm just going to have it wrap around the text. There we go. Another thing that can be a little bit more complicated is inserting a link into your document. So let's say that I want to take this article right here from Smithsonian.com onto Kill a Mockingbird, and I want to put a link to this article in my document. You can always do the old-fashioned way by highlighting the link up here, copying it, going into our document, and then pasting that link into our document. So we could do that. And then always if I go to the end of it and I press enter, it'll make it into a hyperlink. So you could do that. Or another thing you can do is you can go up to insert and you can go to link instead. And then what I can do is I can put the URL in here. I can do the same thing and paste the URL, but I can choose text to make the hyperlink instead of just using the URL. So let me show you what you could do. I could type in Harper Lee's novel has stood the test of time as is illustrated in this article. If I click apply, it inserts that whole entire sentence as a hyperlink. So I could erase this right here. And now when someone looks at my document, instead of them just seeing a URL, if they clicked on this and then they clicked on the link right here, it would take them right to the article. So you can do that too, to be able to create links. The last thing I want to show you how to do is I want to show you how to download this if, let's say, your teacher wants you to put the document into their Dropbox as opposed to giving them a link to the document, or they don't want you to print it out, they just want you to put it right into their Dropbox. What you can do, you can go to File, and then you can go to Download As, and then you can go to all these different kinds of formats. Probably Microsoft Word is the format you're going to want to download it as, and then download it onto your computer and put that Word document into their Dropbox. There's always the chance that some formatting things may change when you download them as a Microsoft Word document. So I would double check it before you turned it into your teacher. But if you have some trouble with some formatting stuff when you download it as a Microsoft Word, you can also download it as a PDF document, and formatting stuff shouldn't change that way. So just double check and make sure if you download anything. So now let's talk about sharing a Google Doc and the benefits of sharing a Google Doc and why you would want to do that. This is one of the most powerful tools in Google Docs. It's a way that you can collaborate with your peers on a paper, or get feedback from your teacher, or even turn in a document to your teacher. So what's really cool about sharing a Google Doc is that you can share your document and allow others to edit it, or you can allow others to view it. If you allow others to edit it, what's cool is that as you work on it at the same time, you can see the other person's updates. So perhaps you've used Prezi like this before. It's very similar to that. So let's say you and a partner are writing a paper together and you both want to work on it at home, maybe even at the same time, you both can do that. So here's how you share a document with somebody. Inside of the document here, you just click share. And And then, much like the way in which we invited somebody to share a folder with us, we're going to invite people to share this document with us. So I'm going to type in that same email address. That is my own personal email address. Now over here again, we can either have that person be able to edit it. There's some other options within Docs as opposed to the folder. We can have the people who we are inviting either be able to edit anything in the document, or we can just have them be able to comment on the document, and I'll show you what comments are. Or we can have the person just be able to view it and not be able to comment on it or edit it at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Can Edit, because someone who can edit can also comment on it. So I'm going to show you how to do all of those things. You can notify people via email if you want to. I'm just going to unclick that for right now, just because I don't need to do that right now, but maybe you do, and you can add a message here, just like with the folders as well. I'm just going to click OK right here. I'm going to click OK again, and now it's shared it to me. So what you would then do is you would have your partner then go into their shared with me folder on their Google Drive. And on my other computer here, I see that it's popped up. So I'm going to open it up, and now you'll see that there is another person on this document with me. So that's how you share a document with each other. You can also see that I can see where that other person's cursor is. If I go over to my other computer and I move my cursor down a little bit, you can see that it's been moved down right here. Change the access people have to your documents at any time. So if I clicked on this button right here that said share, I can change whether they can edit it, comment on it, view it. So I can do all of those things if I wanted to. So just in case you need to change anything like that, you do have the ability to be able to do that. So now let's talk about a couple of the powerful tools that are within sharing a Google Doc. The first and probably most powerful tool is that I can see any edits that another person is making in real time. So for example, I'm going to go over to my other computer here, and I'm going to start typing something. Okay, and so I just started typing something random about To Kill a Mockingbird, and you can see that it popped up on my other computer here in real time. Another thing that's kind of cool, if say you and this other student are working on it at the same time and you want to discuss something before you start typing it out, you can use this little chat button right here to be able to chat back and forth. So maybe I type in a question. What do you think our first paragraph should be about? And click enter. And it pops up on my other computer. Maybe they type back. Okay, and it pops back and forth. Chat is something that is not saved. This will just stay up, and I can minimize it if I wanted to. But chat will just stay for the one session that I am here within the document. But let's say I want to have some comments between the two of us saved throughout the whole entire document. Maybe I want to point something out to my partner and make sure that they pay attention to it, make sure that it doesn't just go away if they exit out of this document. We can use comments instead to be able to do that. So for example, if I click on comments right here, I can highlight a section that I want my partner to pay attention to. And then I can click on comments, and then I can click add comment right here. And then I can say, what does timeless mean? Comment. And then if my partner looks on their computer, they'll be able to see that comment and be able to respond back to me. And even if they exited the essay and went back into it, it would still be there. Unlike the chat that we're having back and forth, that would disappear. So maybe they say something back to me. there we go. They said something back to me. I don't know. Do you? And then maybe I can say, I think it means blah, 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 and, you know, type my answer and click reply. If we think that we've resolved this issue that deals with this one paragraph right here, I can click resolve, and then that comment goes away and we know that we've resolved that issue. But that's a really powerful tool that you can use with other students to be able to talk about what it is you've written, and it can also be a really useful tool for your teacher to be able to comment to you as you're going through drafts, or when you turn something into them, they can comment on your doc, and that's where you can see them, is over on the right hand side. So that can be a really powerful tool for you to be able to use within Google Docs. So let me show you one more thing. So maybe you have a partner that accidentally deletes part of your essay that you actually wanted to keep. They made a mistake. How in the world do you get that part back? You can always go to File and go to Revision History, and it'll show you all of the revisions that have been made, and you can go to other versions and restore other versions so you can get back what was lost before. So if you have a partner that makes a mistake like that, just go to the revision history, restore a different version of it, and then you should be able to fix any mistakes that were made. If for some reason it doesn't show you the right revision that you want, perhaps your partner needs to go in and look at their revision history and restore it from their computer. But you should be able to figure out some way to be able to get the document back to where it was before. So that's a way in which you can save stuff. And then maybe you want to go up to your shared settings, and maybe you want to make them only be able to review it if they keep doing it and keep messing with you or something like that. You can always change that as well. So that's pretty much everything in Docs that gives you the basics that you need to know. Now let's talk about some of the ways in which we can customize Chrome to make it easy for you to browse and have all of your bookmarks and all that kind of good stuff, whether or not you are on a Chromebook or not. So if I click on Chrome here, there are some settings that I can change. You can't change all of the settings, of course, as a student, but these are some of the ones in which you can change. So if you go up to the upper right-hand corner where these little bars are, if you click on it, you go to Settings. Here are some of the settings that you can change, and settings that I recommend that you do change. Automatically, these two buttons are going to be unchecked, Show Home button and Always Show Bookmarks bar. I always like to have my bookmarks right here, okay? So click on that one, and that's a good one to be able to change. The way in which to create bookmarks is pretty simple. Let's say I want to create a bookmark for Ponderosa High School. So the way in which I do it is I can either just go to this little star right here and it'll bookmark this page, okay, and I can change the name of it if I want to. I can change where exactly I want it to be, but I just want it to be on the bookmarks bar right here. I'll click done, and now no matter what tab I have open, I can always get back to that page very easily. Also, clicking Show Home button is a good one as well. You can change where it goes to when you click on the home button. So maybe I like it to go to yahoo.com when I click on the home button. If I click OK, then we're good, and then from there on out, when I click on the home button, it takes me to Yahoo. Okay, so there's that. The last thing that you need to know, and this is extremely important if you're on the Chromebooks, before you leave at the end of the class period, if you're on a Chromebook, you absolutely have to go down to this lower right-hand corner and click Sign Out. If you just close the laptop, the next person who opens it up is going to be in your account. If you're on one of the other computers, not a Chromebook, at school, and you are logged into Chrome and you just log off of the computer, it will log you out of Chrome as well, so you don't need to worry about it that way. But if you're on a Chromebook, make sure you go bottom right-hand corner, sign out. Okay, that's it.